Morning, guys. Today, Maya Angelou, as we close off with her, reminds us to always keep rising. This is the greatest power of human beings. This is where Maya Angelou is very passionate, and it comes out in her poetry. Look her up. She today shares with us an example in her poetry that she wrote and her wonderful words that she's spoken for humanity, that life always rises. That theme is everywhere, and you have to remember that. No matter what, there are things going on that are greater than us, but we are that same thing that's in everything. So we are life, and no matter what, life energy keeps rising, and you are just like that. So no matter how hard your day may be today, just remember to keep rising a little bit, keep learning, keep growing. Try to apply that today and see how you feel at the end of it. Have a great morning, everyone.
You don't need 150 IQ to do what I do, thank God. You don't need 140. You don't need 135. You may need 115 or something like that. But you do need discipline. You have to wait until you see the fat pitch to swing at. Because investing is a no-called strike game. If I were a baseball player and I only like pitches 2 inches above my navel, some guy could learn that and he could pitch me, 3 or 4 inches below that, and I get called out on strikes because I never find a pitch I like. You can get called out on strikes in baseball. You have to swing at pitches that you don't even necessarily like, particularly after the count gets to 2 strikes. In business, you don't have to swing at anything. You can sit there and the paper says General Motors at 68, or it says General Electric at 115, or it says General Dynamics at 63. And if you don't like those prices, you don't have to swing. You can wait there day after day after day after day, and there are no called strikes. Now, when you swing, when you decide to buy something, then, if you swing and miss, it's a strike. But it's a marvelous game to be in because there are no called strikes, and you can simply wait for that one time in a month or 6 months or a year or 2 or 3 years when you really know what you're doing, where you like the price, where you like the people running the business, and then you swing, and you only need a few swings in your lifetime.
Discipline is your missing ingredient. You've got the heart, you've got the care, you've got the desire to serve, you know you could be doing more, you want to do it for the right reasons, you're not just here to make money, you're here to have an impact and to grow and do amazing things. You know you can do amazing things. What's missing? Discipline. There's just a lack of follow through. It's the constant start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And for me, there's nothing more, not just frustrating, but sad than seeing somebody who's got so much talent and so much potential and so much of a heart, and just seeing them not win because they're not following through, because you're just not doing the consistent enough work, that you're motivated and inspired and then you're not anymore and nothing happens. And one of the only things that saved me, one of the only reasons why I'm here making these videos and you're watching, and I've had any success in social media, is because I just was disciplined, that I just kept making videos. One of the things I love sharing is my journey of YouTube, because I was not an overnight success story. Every month almost, I'll post to my socials of how I grew month over month, year over year on YouTube. And in the first 5 years, I had 7,000 subscribers or so. So 5 years in of making content, 7,000 subscribers. A lot of you are already ahead of that. A lot of you could get there a lot faster than me. How do you keep going when you're not getting traction? When in year 1 you have 100 subscribers. I just had the discipline to keep making content, to keep following through. And 12,000 videos later, here we are. And people can get there faster. You don't have to be as slow as me. I took a long time, and I had a lot of issues. I was shy and insecure and introverted, and felt like you had to be, type A personality to win, and all of these limiting beliefs, all sorts of issues. And you can get there a lot faster than me, but it still requires a discipline to follow through and do it. And I really think it's one of the only things that saved me. I remember sitting down at a Florida outlet mall, and I was sitting there with a friend, and Nina was going shopping, and we spent half an hour at a Starbucks there while she was shopping. And he said, I'm going to be the next Gary Vee of my industry. You know, it was in music. I'm going to be the next Gary Vee in music. And you're going to keep doing your thing. Like, let's keep in touch and see how we do and how we grow. And he posted, 3 or 4 years later on his Instagram, and he said, 3 or 4 years ago, I met Evan Carmichael at this outlet mall in Florida. He had our picture as the post, and I told him I was going to be the next Gary Vee for music, and he's going to keep doing his thing. And Evan went on and did his thing, and I stopped. I didn't have the success that I said I was going to have. And here's the thing: this guy has way more talent than I do, and he's super talented in music, and just better camera presence, more energy, his videos just look better, way more attention to detail. He had all of this stuff, and like a warm, amazing human who cares and wants to serve and wants to see musicians make money and turn their art into something amazing, right? Like, he had all of this stuff, all of it. The only thing he lacked was discipline, and he didn't follow through. And I see that in so many of you. You've got everything. You've got all the ingredients. It's just a lack of discipline and not making enough. It's the lack of, because you're not motivated, you stop. And lack of motivation isn't a good enough reason. You have to follow through. So how do you do it? How do you stay disciplined? How do you stay focused when you're not getting results, when you're not seeing the wins? How do you stay disciplined? Okay, so let me give you a couple things. First is having a really powerful morning routine. This is a struggle for entrepreneurs because no matter how great a day you had yesterday, today's a new day. No matter how great today is, tomorrow's a new day. It's like you're starting over every day. You go to an event or you watch a video, get all inspired, and you expect it to last. And then tomorrow you wake up, it's like, oh, how come I don't feel the same way as I did yesterday? And then that creates this cycle of procrastination instead of actually following through. So the morning routine really matters. What is it that gets you feel inspired, motivated, creative, ready to go so that you go off and have a much better day? For me, two of the things that I find the most valuable are in my morning routine. One is music. So I put on music right away. It's the fastest way to change your state. Put on songs that make you move, that make you dance, and make you want to just change your state because you wake up tired and no energy. Like, let's go. We got to demand excellence from ourselves. And so music is the fastest way to get your body into a different state. And the second in my morning routine is to do a Believe walk, and that's 20 minutes to an hour every day. I walk, I go to Tim Hortons, I grab a cup of coffee, and spend $2 on it, and I think about my day. How do I want my day to go? How do I want to be intentional about the day? So we're not waking up like an accident. Most people wake up like an accident, fall into their day, look at other people, you load your phone, right? Other people's agenda for your time, and then you don't follow through. And so having that as part of my morning routine really helps me. So what is your morning routine? The most important thing that you need to do is the thing that makes you feel important, vibrant, that today's going to matter. Put that into your morning routine instead of hoping that it happens. That's why I make so many videos too. There's content for you every day. If you need me in your life or you need the people that I profile in your life, there's something every single day for you across my channels. So there's no excuse for you not to get the inspiration and the motivation and the tactics that you need to make your dreams happen. So that's step number one, is have a powerful morning routine. Step number two is create a calendar. What's in your calendar? I'm making videos today because it's in my calendar. Today's a Tuesday when I'm recording this, and Tuesday is my YouTube day. There's a lot of stuff happening in my life. There's a lot of stuff happening in my business. Right now we're at my wife's parents' house, and they're delivering a couch. Maybe I can see that. They're delivering a couch here. It's delivering a couch, and they're helping. I'm here making content because Tuesday is my YouTube day. There's so many other things I could be doing right now. If I was left to my own devices, I'd say I have something more important to do. I need to be doing X. But because this has been scheduled in my calendar, I'm going to follow through and make videos. How have I made 12,000 videos? Because it's in my calendar. It's been in my calendar for years to make videos. So create a calendar, especially for the things that you know you need to do that you're afraid to do. I'm still afraid to make videos, guys. You know, again, 12,000 videos later, I'm still afraid to make videos. Why? Because I want these videos to be the best I've ever done, because I want to show up with more care, more heart, more passion. I hope that this is a video that forces you, to take some kind of action. I want it to be the best one that I've done. And so I mini procrastinate before making videos on a Tuesday. Every week I have a mini procrastination. The only difference is my procrastination is, 10 minutes instead of days, 10 days, and then it doesn't happen, right? And so whatever you are procrastinating on that you know is important, that you're just afraid of, you put it in your calendar and you block off time. And that allows you the creativity and the space and suffocates the excuses for you not to follow through. And then step number 3. So 1, have a morning routine, right? That sets you up, that gets you inspired, makes you feel like you're important, today's gonna matter. 2, you create a schedule for when you're gonna do the things, especially the scary things on your list. And then 3, you have to teach yourself that you do the things that are in your calendar. You said you were gonna do it, you put it in your calendar, you get it done. Even if you're tired, even if you feel overwhelmed, you can change your calendar for tomorrow, or you can change your calendar for next week. But don't trust yourself or listen to yourself when you're feeling low, when you're feeling overwhelmed, and you said you were gonna do it, you have to go off and do it to teach yourself. Because what happens is the next time you say you're gonna do something, you put in your calendar, you don't trust that you're gonna follow through because you haven't followed through the last 20 times. So be very careful about what you put into your calendar. And then when it's in there, you have to go off and do it. Make those 3 changes in your life. Morning routine, create a schedule, do what's in your schedule. The only thing you're missing is discipline. Again, you've got the heart, you've got the creativity, you've got the passion, you've got the willingness to serve. You know you can do more. You want to create an amazing life for yourself, your family, the people around you. Like, you've got this thing. You've got this thing. I don't need to tell you this. You know that you've got something amazing inside you. And yet it's not happening consistently enough. You have to stop jumping from high to high to high and wondering why you don't feel motivated today. There's nothing wrong with you. This is normal. Discipline. Put it into your life and watch your entire life change. Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going today? Are you still rising? Are you still taking the things that didn't go your way so far and learning from them and changing the thinking? Because that's how you will rise from it. If you haven't or aren't having any success, I want to remind you of your power to never give up on that. Remind yourself, whatever's happened today, whatever's going on right now, go into the root of it. Go into your thoughts. Go into the thinking that produced that action, that outcome that didn't go your way. And now visualize with your belief and your determination to go back at it again whenever it comes and improve upon your response through your thinking. It's never over. We must keep rising no matter what. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Through my journey, I figured out the one piece I was missing. I thought it was cars. I thought it was women. I thought it was money. I thought it was everything. The one piece I was missing was me having the courage to face myself. And once you do that on a daily basis, it's not about the running. People are going to be just about working out. Where I got my work ethic from was the hours I had to spend learning this. When you sit down and you're not smart, and you have a disability, and you still want to be in the top of your class, I didn't want to just get by. When I realized that I can learn through hard work, and I can beat the valedictorian in school, but I got put in 10 hours more a day than he does. You know what kind of strength comes from that? When you're sitting down, that guy that valedictorian studied for an hour, and you know I caught you, and I am dumb, but I have the work ethic to catch you. That's where David Goggins got really invented. Was at a kitchen table with 20 spiral notebooks that were empty, and then 3 months later, they were full. And when you can go through that, I still have them in my storage unit. You go through these spiral notebooks of your life, and you realize this is how I learned. This is unbelievable. There's no miles. It's not about the miles. It's that, having a discipline every day to say, for me to learn this one math problem, it's gonna take me 10 hours.
Wow.
And that's where and you realize through hard work, you can outwork anybody, no matter how badass they are. But that's the part people don't want to dive into.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel is created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how to master the art of self-discipline. Rule number 2, embrace discomfort with Thomas Frank.
Find ways to embrace discomfort and embrace the resistance you feel towards doing something that takes hard work or that's unpleasant. Just like going to an actual gym and lifting weights makes you better at lifting weights in the future and able to lift more weight the next time you go in, every time you embrace discomfort, you are essentially doing a rep of the exercise that is self-discipline, because it is a skill that can be learned. It is a muscle that can be built over time. This is why I'm such a proponent of taking cold showers, because a cold shower is something that most people don't want to do. It's not very comfortable standing underneath that stream of ice cold water. And that's the point. Every morning that you get into the shower and you choose to turn that handle to cold instead of hot, you are embracing discomfort. You're leaning into the resistance, and that makes you better at doing so in the future, regardless of what the task is. So as you go through your daily life, find ways to embrace discomfort. It could be cold showers, it could be signing up for a 6 a.m. ROTC fitness class, it could be taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Basically, whenever your brain throws up that I don't feel like it excuse, that is an opportunity to build that self-discipline muscle, and you should take it.
Rule number 3, delegate more with Brendon Burchard.
You want to be more disciplined, you're going to have to delegate more. You want to be more disciplined to what really matters for you, you're going to ask for assistance, for help, you're going to have to build the team, you're going to have to socially engage people to support your focus. It's just real. Like every writer I know who's become a major writer has assistants. Meaning they get somebody, their spouse, their partner, their agent, a personal assistant, somebody is helping with the part of their life so they can focus on that thing, right? It's hard to be a disciplined writer if you're doing everything under the sun. You need time to be able to write, which means there's some things you can't handle by yourself. And you're gonna have to delegate that. And if you're like, well, Brendon, I don't have anyone to delegate to, then I'm like, then stop saying yes to everything under the sun. Stop putting more and more on your plate when you can't handle what you already got, babe. We got to go, no. If I want to be disciplined, I got to choose a few things. Say no to the rest, delegate the rest, and do what is here. You don't lack discipline, you're taking on too much. You don't lack discipline. You're taking on too much, or you don't have a schedule, or you don't know your outcome. Outcome, schedule, delegation, and last thing is, I think this is really a critical thing for us in aliveness and fulfillment and connection in our lives. Often we don't have discipline because we've set up no reward and reflection in our life.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 4, focus on the most important goal with Brian Tracy.
All successful men and women are highly disciplined in the important work that they do. All unsuccessful men and women are undisciplined and unable to control their behaviors and their appetites. And when you develop the same levels of high personal discipline possessed by the most goal-oriented, successful people in our society, you will very soon begin to achieve the same results that they do. It's no miracle. All great success in life is preceded by long, sustained periods of focused effort on a single goal, the most important goal, with the determination to stay with it until it is complete. Throughout history, we find that every man or woman who achieved anything lasting and worthwhile had engaged in long, often unappreciated hours, weeks, months, and even years of concentrated, disciplined work in a particular direction. Fortunately, the quality of self-discipline is something that you can learn by continuous practice, over and over, until you master it. Once you've mastered the ability to delay gratification, the ability to discipline yourself to keep your attention focused on the most important task in front of you, there is virtually no goal that you cannot accomplish and no task that you cannot complete. I have studied successful men and women for more than 40 years, and in the simplest of terms, successful men and women are those who work almost all the time on high-value tasks. Unsuccessful men and women are those who waste their time by wasting the minutes and hours of each day on low-value activities. You see, there is a crowding out principle in time and personal management. It simply says that if you spend all of your time on highly productive tasks, by the end of the day, you will have crowded out all the unproductive activities that might have distracted you from your real work and from what's really important. On the other hand, if you spend your time on low-value activities, the reverse happens. Those low-value activities will crowd out the time that you need to complete the tasks that can make all the difference in your life. And the key to this attitude toward time and personal management is always self-discipline. There are several disciplines that you need to develop if you want to achieve your full potential. The first of these is the discipline of goals. This means that you sit down with a pad of paper, a pen, and ample time to think. You think through and then make a written list of all the things that you want to accomplish in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. You organize the list into the various areas of your life, your career, your money, your family, your health, and the other parts that are important to you. Interestingly enough, if you can be clear about your goals and write them down, there's nothing that can stop you from achieving them. But if you're not clear, that means that you haven't written them down, there's nothing that can help you. You set priorities among your goals and rewrite your lists so that your most important goals are at the top. You then take a separate sheet of paper and you make a list of all the things that you can think of doing right now to move you toward the attainment of your most important goals.
Rule number 5, just do it with John Maxwell.
I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success. None of us can afford to have a life that is controlled by someone else, or a life that is basically controlled by our emotions. I learned many years ago that there are two kinds of people. There's the type of person who says, I'm going to wait till I feel like it before I do it. And then there's a person who says, I've got to do it so that I feel like it. One will never get anything done because they're still waiting to feel the moment to move. And the other person says, no, I need to move, and then I will begin to feel the moment. Sonia, self-discipline is essential in your life and in my life if we're going to get things done. So I have a challenge for every one of you this weekend. The challenge is simple. As you go through your weekend, and sometimes it's kind of hopefully an easier time of your week, ask yourself, am I practicing self-discipline in my life? Am I doing the things that I should do because I need to do them, or am I kind of waiting to feel the moment?
And rule number 6, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is be relentless with Jared Glant.
You have to be relentless. You have to be completely not unreasonable, no excuses. This is the only way it's going to be, especially when you don't want to do it. I mean, that's the differentiator between the average and the successful, is doing the hardest thing you could possibly think of, even when you don't want to do it. And so, like when you're trying to figure out, like let's just take making phone calls, for example. Let's say you, at the end of this, what you should do is you should write out a list of everything that you want to be more disciplined with, right? I gave you a list of 8 things there: attitude, diet and exercise, the friends you keep, your environment, the choices that you make, the actions that you take, your personal development, your thoughts, the things you say, and then your dress and attire. There's a list of 8, you know, those are just 8 that I thought of. Your list of 8 could be totally different, right? But pick those top 5, top 10 things that you know you need to be more disciplined in, okay? Don't tackle the whole list at the same time, okay? You might be able to handle that. I can't. Like for me, it didn't work, right? So what I had to do is I got to go after each one of these until the skill is set, right? So I'm going to go after my attitude. Hey, what can I do to have a better attitude on a daily basis? Man, dude, I want to think about my goals. I want to have signs up around me. Be positive. Success is your duty. I had on my window where I used to make in our LA office. We had a window that overlooked the Hollywood Hills, and on the window I wrote, "Don't be a little bitch." Right? Every single day, man. I didn't want to be a bitch. I didn't want to bitch out on the call. I didn't want to bitch out with the customer. I wanted to ask the hard question. So I had that right in front of me. I wanted to be more aware so that I could have more control over it, right? Diet and exercise, right? Maybe that's the next thing. Okay, so you get the attitude locked in. You've been jamming on the attitude thing for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Okay, and then you move into diet. Now, if you don't work out, the first time you try to go to exercise, tell me it's not like, oh man, this is hard, and then you get sore and you're like, oh man, and then the next morning comes, you're rolling around in bed, the alarm going off. You hadn't even stepped foot out of the bed and it already hurts, right? Dude, you gotta be disciplined to throw one foot out, the next foot out, and get your ass up out of bed, right? And then you gotta do it the next day, and the next day. And after 2 or 3 weeks, tell me it ain't easier. You start waking up before the alarm goes off, right? Because you've built that discipline. The consistency is built discipline for you, okay? So, I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, you gotta figure out what those things are for you that you need to be more disciplined in, but I can guarantee you that discipline in your life will have a large, large effect on how successful you end up becoming. And it's not, and the things may change, the list may change. That's why it's so important to get this process in now. And this really is a process. It's something that you can look at, and it's something that you can implement with where you're at right now. So that, you know, at 26 years old, I've got one set of things I need to be more disciplined with, right? It was being disciplined, maybe not smoking weed, you know? Before I smoked a lot of weed, you know? I had to be disciplined to get off of it. I had to stop one day at a time. First day, hey, done with this. Second day, not going back. Third day, it's in the rearview mirror. 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, it's gone. I built the muscle where it wasn't an issue. You know, 30, okay, hey, now what can I do to go from 250 to 500K a year? What can I do? What can I do every day? Where do I need to be thinking, right? When you're 35, it may change. When you're 40, it may change. When you're 50, it may change. But when I look at a guy like Grant, right, who's extremely successful, dude, he's already got all the discipline built in for all the things that we're trying to do right now, right? And now he's disciplined for even bigger goals. How do I get to $1 billion in real estate? I want to be a billionaire. How do I get there? So look, this discipline thing will carry with you. You'll carry it your entire life. That's why it's so important to get it built in now.
Good evening, guys. I want to share with you a story from Les Brown today to remind us that we must always keep rising. And how did it go today, by the way? Can you find examples where you used that thought energy of always trying to keep rising? If not, get it back in your mind. Tomorrow's another day. This is another moment. You always can rise from whatever you've fallen from. And I want us to remember Les Brown's story where he was playing a game of Connect Four with his son, his younger son, and he wanted to go to sleep. He was tired. He kept winning and beating his son. And his son said to him, "Dad, it's not over until I win." And that is the spirit that we have to remember if we're going to keep rising. It's not over until you win whatever you lost at. Have a great evening, everyone.
Whoever it is that you want to be, no matter how many times you may have failed at attempting to become that person leading up to this point, you can still become that person. You're going to decide who that is, whether it's a category like warrior or whether it's a specific person that you want to emulate. You're going to break their world down into do's and don'ts, how they would react to certain situations. You're going to hold that ideal in your mind and you're going to force yourself to act in accordance. You are going to tell people what you're up to. And if you really have some balls, you're going to tell people that want you to fail. Because that, believe it or not, that's who's going to come to your rescue in your darkest hours of wanting to give up. It's going to be remembering that out there is someone who's laughing at you, who wants you to fail, that's talking behind your back about how you're never going to achieve it, and then imagine how rad it will be when you actually do achieve it. There is the darkness and the light, my friends, and you have to play in both. You've got to know 80% of your time in the light. Focus on the beautiful things you want to create and what you want to do with your life and all of that. There's 20%, some straight Darth Vader shit. Like, you've really got to lean into that. There is real power in anger, frustration, in not wanting somebody to get one over on you, on winning against all odds, all of that stuff. It is really powerful. And this is one of those things that I find a lot of times people are willing to lean on one tactic, but not the other. Set aside all your judgments about the tactics. The human animal is designed a certain way. Anger exists for a reason. Pressure exists for a reason.
Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Tom Bilyeu, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, focus on fulfillment.
A few things. One, happiness, which is incredibly transitory, is probably not the right thing to focus on. The right thing to focus on, in my humble opinion, is fulfillment. And fulfillment has a formula which is about working really hard to gain a set of skills that allow you to achieve a goal that is both honorable and exciting. So you have to be hyped up about it, and it needs to serve not only yourself, but other people. Now, that's a far more robust, resilient, neurochemical state to pursue, and I should have said pursue a goal rather than attain it, because you may never attain it. But the pursuit of it ought to be the part that is leading you to fulfillment. So you're working really hard to gain a set of skills that allow you to serve not only yourself, but other people. Okay, so if we know that that's what we want to pursue, then the question becomes, how do we know that we're fulfilled? How do we know that we're happy? How do we know that we're sad? How do we know that we're anything? And the answer to that question is is really self-awareness. And I mean literally being aware of self. So understanding that emotions spring forth from the body. They are not a top-down phenomenon. The interpretation of the emotion is a top-down phenomenon. But as Lisa Feldman Barrett details in her book, How Emotions Are Made, it's really a fascinating conversation is probably the right way to think about it, between your body and your mind. And so your body is giving you these feelings, which are in part due to values that you hold, beliefs that you have, historical experience, your genetic composition. And then based on that context, you feel, literally feel, a certain way. And then your higher level cognition tries to paint a story on top of that emotion, explaining why you feel it. But the reality is it's being kicked up by your body, and whatever story you're telling yourself may or may not be accurate. But we believe the story all the time, and this is how people end up in these negative spirals. But you have to learn to interpret those signals from your body. That's the important part about assessing where you're at on an emotional playing field, is you really have to get good at interpreting those emotions.
Rule number 3, be prepared.
What I find is the thing that people are always, if somebody's going to compliment me, the thing that they're going to compliment me on is, Tom, you always seem so prepared for your interviews. And my thing is like, the only way to win in life is to be more prepared than everybody else. If you want to win a gold medal in the Olympics, you actually have to be better at that sport than any other human being on planet Earth. That's business. You're going, here's another one, this drives me nuts. People will say, Tom, because I always tell people, you have to work hard, smart, and long hours. And the inevitable question that I get is, Tom, if I work hard and smart, why do I need to work long hours? Because you're going against me, and I'm willing to do all three. So now what? There's no arbiter other than being better, right? If your game is to be stronger, you better be able to lift more weight. If your product solves XYZ problem, it better actually solve it, and better than anything else. So the presentation is, hey, look guys, I'm a nervous wreck. I hate giving presentations. But the one thing that I know about my product, it will outperform. And I invite you now to put me in whatever circumstance you need to, and I'm going to show you that it outperforms. This is why, trust me, if Albert would let me, I would stay here on this stage and answer every single question. I would let people push me and say, no, but Tom, you haven't solved my problem. I will keep going until we solve your problem. Now, I don't mind doing that because it's first principles thinking. It applies to everything. I know my product is better. So I will just stand here and do this moment after moment after moment. When you get as confident in your product as I am in my ability to solve business problems, presenting will be very easy.
Rule number 4, love the process.
When you were making your transition into being successful, how did you combat the frustration of not being where you wanted to be? I'm never where I want to be. So I'm not where I want to be now. I'm not where I wanted to be when, people would have looked at it and said, oh my God, this is like the height of success. It was, one, I'm very careful to make sure that I'm only invested in the process, but because I'm trying to get somewhere, that intentionally I'm throwing way beyond where I'm at. I'm always thinking about what it's going to take to get to that next level. I'm never where I quote unquote want to be, but I don't trick myself into tying my value to achieving it. So I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm in it for the process. I'm in it for the learning. And I make sure that I'm handcrafting my life to optimize for joy and fulfillment. And so knowing that, I cannot guarantee the success. I cannot guarantee ever that anyone is ever going to be successful. But I can guarantee that you're going to struggle. Guarantee. 100%. Nobody avoids it. That's it. Everybody that ever tries to do anything, and even most of the people that don't try to do anything, are going to struggle profoundly with moving forward. It's just hard like that. And so if you know that the struggle is guaranteed, then you can't allow yourself to waste time to be tormented by the fact that you're not where you want to be. Make sure you're having fun in the struggle. Figuring out how to struggle well, that's the answer. When I was coming up, the question I was told to ask myself was, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? And What I realized is since failure is the most obvious answer, that's probably not the right question to ask. The right question to ask is, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing? Now, failure is never going to be as fun as winning. I know that. But if you can do something that you believe in enough, and that the act of trying to get good at it is fun in and of itself, now you're on the right path. That's where you want to focus. Put your time and energy into making sure that you love the process. Don't worry about the outcome. Worry about the process, getting better, and loving that. Everything else will take care of itself.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, learn from your mistakes.
We're leading people into the unknown. We're leading them into whether it's business danger or emotional danger. And at the end of the day, sometimes people are going to get hurt, they're going to fail, whatever. They have to be resilient, they have to learn. But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to be the human equivalent of a battle axe and get in there, try things, hard things, fail, practice, get stronger, learn, grow, then over time, despite the scars, you are more capable. You can do things other people can't do. I'm obsessed with that idea. I want to be able to do things other people cannot do. Now, when you can do things that other people cannot do, now you've got a real shot at whatever it is that you're trying to do. I want my name to echo through the annals of history. Now, I don't need other people to want that, but I want that. And I know for me to actually pull that off, which by the way, my identity is not tied up in that. My self-esteem is not tied up in that. I could die completely unknown. What I value myself for is the pursuit, but I sincerely pursue that. And to sincerely pursue that, I have to become capable of things other people are not capable of. I have to be so good that I cannot be denied. That's my obsession. I love that. I want that for you guys to both be willing to play at that level every day and yet not judge yourself if you're not there yet. That you only judge yourself by the sincere pursuit of something. That you show up every day playing to win, trying to be the best in the world at something that you care about, being unafraid to lead, to be out front, to fail people sometimes, to own it, to say, hey, I failed you. And this is why. And this is what I'm going to do next time to get a different result. And you will be shocked at how people will follow you more when you just own it. When you tell them what your plan is to get better and they see you on the front lines improving, people will fall in line. I f up all the time. But on balance, people see the rate at which I improve. They see that I have a goal and I'm a servant to that goal. And then I build skills based on what will take me to that goal. And because I win on balance more than I lose, people still follow.
Rule number 6, delay gratification.
What are some action steps I can take right away to train my mind to not go after easy pleasures and happiness and instead seek the gratification that comes from fulfillment? All right. The great news is all you have to do is recognize the truth of the human condition. And the truth of the human condition is that chasing momentary happiness won't fulfill you. That's literally what I wanted to say. And I'm not, because we're talking about fulfillment, I won't use a just recursive loop, but that really is true. All of that stuff is so transient. What makes fulfillment interesting is that it is this far more stabilizing neurochemical state. So your brain is constantly checking in with you, making sure on a subconscious level that you're doing the things that you need to do to be of service to the group, to be of service to yourself, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your family and your loved ones and your tribe, okay? So there's this subconscious record keeping going on. And that's exactly what's happening. That's why you sometimes will feel the unease in your body before consciously you know what's going on. And you feel it, there's something off. You need to take the time to identify what it is to be able to articulate it in a single, nice, crispy sentence so you can figure out exactly what it is that you need to do to move forward. Okay, now once you understand that that is just the nature of the game, that going after these momentary things will be exactly that. It's going to be momentary. It's going to fade. You're going to have a sense of unease. You're not going to be in the shape that you want emotionally. Once I know, going down that road is not going to leave me in the emotional state that I want to be in, then it's very easy to go, well, this one might be a little bit more difficult. It might take more sustained effort, but it yields these tremendous results. So the example that I always give is eating junk food. I love junk food. And truly love it, by the way. It gives me a drug-like high. It is so fun to eat sugary foods. The problem is that, especially as I get older, it hurts, literally, after the fact. My joints will hurt. I won't sleep as well. I wake up the next day, and it's just like I have like a slight hangover. That's literally what it feels like. And because I know that that's the outcome, it's like, well, on the times where I don't mind, and it's like, well, I'm going to, enjoy this drug-like thing for a minute. I'll sort of walk a fine line, have some fun here, suffer a little tomorrow, but on balance, maybe I come out a little bit ahead on the happiness. But if I try to do it 2 days in a row, forget it, 3 days in a row, it really starts to be like a real problem. So even over the holidays now, when I let myself off of, the hook with all of my normal disciplines and all of that, even then now I keep myself in check just because I don't like the way that it feels. So once you understand, I can do this thing over here and feel really good, or I can do this thing over here, it's very momentary, it's very transient, it doesn't last, I kind of, I'm not where I want to be, and I begin to ask myself questions like, what am I doing with my life? So just knowing that, to me, fulfillment is much longer in duration. It's much more resilient. I can be fulfilled even when things are hard, even when things aren't going my way, even when it's difficult. In fact, the fulfillment I get from contributing to the group is the very thing that inoculates me from the hard times being able to knock me all the way down. Because on those moments where you're just beleaguered and you're getting it from all sides and it just seems like everything is crashing on you at once, in those moments, you're going to cling to what you're doing to help other people. And nature will ensure that that is going to make you feel way, way better.
Rule number 7, start improving daily.
You've got to instill in your mind that the average human is capable of unbelievable improvement. That's the thing that's my superpower. I don't think I'm special. I just realized in looking at the science that humans actually are capable of this incredible amount of change. It is the strategy that our species took to be able to pass knowledge on through culture rather than having to have everything be instincts. And in having that layer where we can drink in the culture and read books and learn from other people, and even now we're all learning from things that people thought thousands of years ago and wrote down, like, it's insane. It travels through to you, and all of that wisdom stored in culture, so that as your parents are teaching you things, they're actually encapsulating a ton of the wisdom that is endured, whether it's endured from religion or books or whatever. Like, you're bathed in a culture that is giving you all of this incredible information. And so recognizing how powerful and potent that is incredibly meaningful. But you have to understand that you have to allow yourself to believe that you can learn from that culture in the same way that everybody else can. And that's what you're designed to do. Now, for me, that completely gave me the confidence, and I put confidence in air quotes because it's not like I believe something specific about myself. I just believed that the human animal is capable of this extraordinary change. And so now I just needed to point myself in that direction. Now, this is the key. Once I realized that I could get better at anything, it dawned on me that how I spend my time is a spiritual consideration. And I didn't want to die with potential that I failed to turn into skill set. That, to me, that speaks to me. How much of my potential can I actually turn into skill set and get good at this stuff and push and grow and improve? Like, that to me is just this incredibly intoxicating loop. So for me, the discipline, the confidence, all of that comes from recognizing the human animal Nothing special about me. The human animal is capable of extraordinary change. I'm going to have to put time and energy into doing it, but I'm capable of getting this change. Therefore, I can do anything I set my mind to. Therefore, it really matters what I choose to spend my time on. Therefore, I want to put structure and discipline in my life so that I can move forward on things that excite me, that matter to me, because I really can have this big, crazy dream that I'm thinking of. So my discipline is really born of my desire to have that thing, coupled with my belief that I can actually get there. Desire and belief. Get those two things right, and the discipline will take care of itself.
Rule number 8, increase your desire.
A big thing that you can do in terms of figuring out how to take control of your path and steer yourself towards your goals is getting really good at goal setting, making sure that you use the process of building desire to figure out how to increase your desire for something, because steering yourself towards your goals is really about wanting something so badly that you're willing to try over and over and over again in order to make progress. Because the reality is, as Winston Churchill said, success is the ability to go from failure to failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. Now, that requires that you really want something, that you're able to read yourself to know if you want that thing badly enough that you're going to stick with it, because if you don't, one of two things is true. Thing number one, either you have chosen the wrong thing, but a lot of people use that excuse over and over and over. As Angela Duckworth says in her book, Grit, if you find yourself doing that 3 times or more, odds are you have a grit problem, you have a tenacity problem, you're not sticking with it, you're not pushing through the boredom and the pain, which are inevitable if you want to get good enough to be extraordinary at something. So we need to set these goals that meet 2 criteria. They are exciting to you, you want them very badly, you've invested time and energy into wanting that thing. And it needs to be based on something real. It's very hard to turn an ember into a raging inferno when there was no real ember there to begin with. So it needs to be something that is legitimately interesting to you. And then you're going to fan those flames and really build emotional importance and emotional resonance around this thing. Then the second part of any goal, it should be honorable, meaning that pursuing it is going to allow you to serve not only yourself, but other people. Now, the great news is that because we are a social creature, the more that you do that, the more that you're pursuing something that allows you to elevate yourself, yes, but other people, most importantly. Now, Mother Nature has just put a reward into your brain. When you do that, I promise you will feel better. I promise it is just the way that we're wired. When you serve other people, you will feel better. Serve other people and you will feel better. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be Mother Teresa and that you can't be doing things for yourself. Again, the goal should be exciting and honorable. But once you're doing something that you really care about and you are acquiring a set of skills that matter to you, that you just want to get good at, but they are very much on purpose, allowing you to help other people, now all of a sudden you get in this feedback loop of the more you engage, the harder you work, the more skill set you get. This really becomes a passion, because a part of passion, in fact, I don't believe something becomes a passion unless it's reciprocated by the people that you serve. And so when you're doing something that really allows you to light other people on fire, and look, that could be building toy models in your house. But if nobody ever gets to enjoy those toy models, the odds of that really becoming this self-reinforcing behavior are very slim. We all want to create something that we share with somebody else and it gets appreciated by them. It brings a smile to their face. And it could be that simple. Maybe what you create just makes other people happy. But in doing that, you connect to other people. You're elevating other people. You're engaging. You're being a social creature. You're contributing to the group. And in contributing to the group, now it can become a passion because you're getting the feedback that you need to go back and do all the boring, painful stuff that true mastery requires. And if you want to achieve your goals, mastery and desire are going to be the 2 most critical components next to clarity.
Rule number 9, remember your goal.
I think all of us have a desire to be looked at favorably, especially by the people that we care about, that we respect. But you have to, like Viktor Frankl said, understand that there's a gap between stimulus and response. And in that gap, you have the ability to choose something as a way of reacting that isn't your emotions dictating that. So you're gonna have an emotional reaction. When you do something and people disapprove, almost certainly happens for me, you're going to feel that sting of like, oh, that sucks. I really wanted people to be behind me. I really want people to cheer. I really want people to clap for me. That's amazing. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to say, what is my goal and what reaction to this stimulus actually moves me towards my goal? And that needs to be the thing that overrides everything else. So step one is having that clear goal, knowing what you're trying to accomplish. And then step two is the ability to assess whether or not your emotion, that which is the subconscious speaking to your conscious mind. So if you think of emotions as the subconscious, which processes data in a faster and vaster, as they say, fashion, meaning it can process a whole lot of information that your conscious mind would not be able to process through rapidly, and it can do it much more quickly. So it coughs up, instead of speaking in the language of that little voice you actually hear articulating words in your head, it's coughing up an emotion. So it's all of that experience, all of the things that our brain does to make sure that we protect ourselves, that we don't get ostracized by the group, which makes sense in an evolutionary context, but not so much in a modern context. That's why the subconscious is speaking in emotion. But you can take that emotion and say, hey, this doesn't make sense for my goal. Feeling badly about myself, worrying about what other people think about me, it's only going to slow me down. It's only going to hold me back. I need to be able to trust my instincts, which I have trained, and now move towards what my goals demand. And so when you're able to do that, when you're able to read the emotion, check to see if there's a lesson to be learned. But if there's in wallowing in that emotion, if it's going to move you away from your goals, then you set that to the side. And practicing that and getting good at that and filtering everything to your goal is how ultimately you're not going to spend a lot of time caring about what other people think. And so the savior for me has been the belief and the part of my identity which says I only do and believe that which moves me towards my goals. So obsessing over negative thoughts about what other people think doesn't, and so I just let it go and move on. And it literally comes down to what you allow yourself to think about. So just stop yourself using cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, stop yourself from thinking about what other people think.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is overcome chaos.
Chaos can be very difficult to deal with, and it requires a lot of emotional management, and you've got to be able to do many things, quite frankly. It is going to be a whole grab bag of tricks, my friends, for you to get through and get on the other side of that chaos. All right, first things first, meditation is going to be huge, okay? Just at a physiological level, you've got to get that background radiation down to zero. Now, this can be very difficult when you're in the middle of something and you really feel like you're fighting for your life, but you need to make time for that. This is a physiological process. By getting into that calm and creative state, you're going to find answers that you otherwise wouldn't see. So we need to get out of that panic mode and into calm, creative problem solving. Now, remember, action cures all. So we've got this fulfillment thing that we're chasing. We've got the fulfillment formula. We know exactly what we need to do. We're in the middle of the chaos. And the thing that's going to solve for that, meditation, so we're thinking calmly and clearly, but also having a plan of attack and then going after it. So there's been really cool studies done by Andrew Huberman and other people about how lateral eye movement can actually pull you out of that stressed and anxious state, because what it's doing is it's mimicking you moving forward. And moving forward on these evolutionary time frames, we've been rewarded for that because it means that you're confronting your problem. You're working hard. You're dealing with the saber-toothed tiger, the warring tribe, the just need to go out and hunt, whatever. You're dealing with it. And since nature only has pleasure and pain, if you're dealing with it, nature's going to make sure to give you some pleasure on that. And conversely, if you're trying to hide from it, that's not going to feel great. And you're going to really spiral. It is crazy to me how taking action and getting into problem-solving mode immediately shifts me out of anxiety. It is absolutely profound. So that's going to be a big part of this. And when you're doing that in the context of the fulfillment formula, now you know that this is going to be something you're working really hard to gain that set of skills that serve not only yourself but other people. So you're thinking about other people. You're thinking about service. And that has a way of really helping you get through the chaos because it's giving you the emotional energy to have the stamina to fight through to get to the other side. And as I think it was Churchill that said, if you're going through hell, keep going. But keep going armed with meaning and purpose around how you're contributing to the group, around getting these skills, around being in problem-solving mode, and around taking action, because that is going to be the thing that cures all. And then don't forget, sleep hygiene, very important. Meditation, important. Keep your diet right. Don't tell yourself a negative story. Don't allow yourself to loop in defeat. Find people that can elevate you. Find people that will, in a very real, skills-based way, help you see the path forward and help you hold on to the only belief that matters, that you can figure this out.